So wow, we're like 11 minutes in and I haven't done anything. Hi, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you guys are new, welcome. My name is Laura. I post videos once a week, mainly about makeup and sometimes about hair, fashion, lifestyle, beauty, wigs, all that good stuff. So if you guys enjoy that kind of content, then please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button so you guys get updates whenever I upload a new video. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter. I've got links for all my social media accounts, affiliate links, discount codes, everything of that nature in the description box below. So I would really appreciate it if you guys could follow me there and check them out, use those codes as needed. That would be really appreciated and would mean a lot to me. If you guys have seen my videos before, or if you know me in real life, I look a little different today. Today I am going to be doing this full 29 scene emo look. I don't know what else to call it, but this is basically how I wish I looked when I was in high school and middle school too. As we are closing out the year 29 scene, moving into the Rawring 20s, thought it was just appropriate to end off the year on a high note, a low note, a type of note. So if you guys want to see how I created this look, then please keep on watching. So a bit of backstory. When I was a teenager, I always wanted to be a scene kid. Maybe I was just too dumb or just not exposed to things. Whatever the case may be, I never got to live out my scene dreams. I didn't know about Tumblr until like years after it happened. I didn't know about MySpace until years after it happened, and like kind of when I found out about it, it was already sort of not becoming cool because other social medias came onto the scene, pun intended. By the time I found out about MySpace, I felt like other social media platforms were already around and I was already creating accounts with those. So I didn't feel like there was a need for me to create a MySpace account because I was like, well, I already have like Facebook and Twitter and whatever. I think that was all that was around. Maybe YouTube actually. I didn't see the point. But I probably could have done that and enjoyed MySpace for like a year and a half. Anyways, what I did instead was I used to collect pictures of like scene people, scene girls that I like idolized, or just like, you know, like cool hair, cool makeup, that sort of thing, cool clothes. And I think I copied the pictures from like Google Images and then pasted them into a Word document. So I just had like pages and pages of cool scene people. And yeah, I realize now that that is exactly what Tumblr is, and I should have just known about Tumblr. But I grew up in a fairly conservative house and a fairly conservative community. And I went to private school, so we had at one of my schools, like at my elementary middle school, we had a uniform. So everyone was wearing the same thing, and also things like jewelry and accessories. We were told to like tone them down a bit. So yeah, just keep them kind of like on the minimalistic side. And then when I went to high school, we had a dress code. We didn't have a uniform, but we weren't allowed to color our hair certain colors, like anything like unnatural. Like even there was a guy in my school who I think was naturally a ginger, but he did something to make his hair look more like red. I don't think it was hair dye. It might have been like henna or something. Like it just was like a really bright red. And he got in trouble with the administration for like dyeing his hair red. So I was just in a very conservative environment. I wasn't exposed to scene kids. There weren't really, from what I can remember, there weren't really any of them in my neighborhood. And I grew up in the suburbs, so I didn't really go downtown very often where those sort of like alternative types would have been around and more visible. So really I just got it from the internet, but I didn't know that there were other people around that also liked the same things as me. And also because I was fairly young, my parents like restricted my internet use, so like it took a while for me to be allowed to create like social media accounts and things like that. So I really wasn't exposed to other like alternative types until I was much older. So I kind of like, that's like a big regret of mine that I never actually went through the scene phase. It was like, it's all kept inside my like dark little heart, but it wasn't shown to the world until I was much later. And then I kind of went through my like rebellious rebellious phase where I like dyed my hair colors and like pierced my nose and, you know, got my industrial and whatever. So now I am like living out my adolescent dreams. So yeah, I'm really excited to make this video. I used to, oh yeah, so another thing, backtracking to my like little, my Microsoft Word Tumblr page. I used to write a lot of fiction. So like mostly fantasy leaning into sci-fi. So there were a lot of, and like I've always watched a lot of anime, so I've always sort of been exposed to characters with like quote unquote unnatural colored hair. So part of me collecting all these like scene kids was story inspiration for me. Never ended up doing anything with those, or very little with those, but just so I had it for future reference. Oh my god, this is like my early Pinterest board also. So I'm going to stop talking and we're just going to get into the action. So let's start with the eyebrows. So I think what I'm going to do is do like scene style makeup while incorporating current trends and like techniques. Because like things like I never filled in my eyebrows. Nobody filled in their eyebrows during, you know, the scene heydays. And like no one contoured, no one highlighted. Well, actually, maybe some people contoured, but people didn't highlight, like, things like that. So I'm going to sort of adapt it. I might just go into the black from the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Division palette. Like, I don't really want to have black eyebrows. I'm going to be wearing a wig later anyways. Okay, you know what? Let's just see. Let's try it out. I'm just going to literally go over, like, I'm just going to fill in the inside. I'm not going to try and make my brows look bigger, which is what I normally do. And I really don't care if they're even or not, because back in the day, like, I had the worst eyebrows. Everyone had the worst eyebrows. I'm gonna dip into my Anastasia dip brow and just kind of smooth out so there aren't like any gaps. Like I don't want my brows to look sparse, but I don't want them to look too like Instagrammy and done, if that makes sense. But like there were some scene kids that had like, they were very obviously drawn on brows, so I'm sort of going for that while still staying slightly natural. I don't really know. I'm gonna put on some primer. When I was a teenager, like I did not start wearing makeup until I was about 16 or so. Even then, like I wore shitty drugstore makeup that had like, it was all sparkles and zero pigment because I wasn't really into makeup. I was very much a tomboy until around 15, 16. Did not care like about my appearance. Just wanted to look kind of like punk. See if I can dig up some old pictures of me of what I thought punk meant. So I didn't wear makeup, didn't do my hair, like I was just very anti-girly until around 15, 16. Then I was like, you know what? I want to try wearing makeup. And I wore like shitty eyeshadow, some eyeliner, and I don't think I wore mascara until much later. And maybe like some lip gloss or lip balm or something. I really didn't wear much makeup. It took me a while to figure out like how to actually do makeup. So I didn't wear like foundation or anything like that. All those stories about like orange foundation and stuff, can't relate. Did not go through that phase, for which I am grateful. But also like, I mean, I wish I had some of those like cringy photos, but then I have like other cringy photos that are arguably worse. So I'm just gonna like slather on some foundation with just a makeup sponge. I honestly wonder, some of these scene kids that everyone used to idolize. How did they have the budget to do all that? Like, was it just they saved up like all their birthday money and like got certain things as like birthday presents, or were they just really rich and like had the money and like the means and like even just like the resources, like the people to ask and get advice from to buy all that makeup and hair extensions and all that? Like, being a scene kid was very expensive. Like, you had to bleach your hair. Okay, well, so if you're doing it with your real hair, you have to bleach your hair, dye your hair, and then buy hair extensions. And hair extensions are not cheap, like human hair extensions, because then they had to bleach those, dye those, or like, tone them, dye them. And then hair extensions don't last forever. And then just like buying scene clothes, like Hot Topic is really expensive. I don't know where else they would have gotten clothes, but that's where I assume everyone would have gotten their clothes. Oh yeah, another thing. Hot Topic only opened in Canada, like, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago, something like that. So I had nowhere, well, actually, no, that's not true. I had almost nowhere to buy scene clothes. Like, the only place that I can think of offhand is this goth store downtown, which I only found out about, like, years later. Otherwise, like, I don't know where else I would have found stuff. Like, all the, like, like, I shopped at, like, Old Navy and shit like that. Like, I didn't buy expensive clothes, and what they were showing at the time was like not like sort of like the mainstream stuff, not scene stuff. So I had nowhere to buy scene clothes. I just admired them online. There were a couple times where I tried to get a scene style haircut, but I didn't have enough hair, and what I didn't realize is that most scene kids were wearing extensions, so I thought it was all just like they had like thick, luscious hair, and I had like thin, like not stringy hair, but just like very fine hair. And also I didn't realize that they like teased their hair, so I was like, I don't understand how they got it so like big and whatever. And so I always asked for like really like dramatic layers in my hair. And also I would go to like not supercuts, but like basically First Choice, I think, like shitty ass cheap like $10 haircuts. So they don't have like the resources and the training a lot of the time. Like, you go in and you get a basic haircut, you don't go in and get a scene haircut. So, but what did I know? It's like 14, so did not know these things until now. I look very ghostly. First, I'm gonna put on some concealer. So now I'm gonna powder my face. I'm gonna I've watched a couple tutorials just to kind of like learn how to properly do this. I mean, not like, I guess there's a proper way because I feel like no one knew what they were doing. There weren't like makeup tutorials back then. Like, literally everyone had to figure it out themselves. Another thing, I would occasionally read like Cosmo magazine, 17 magazine, like those types of like teen magazines that were like shit. It was all like, again, like mainstream stuff. So you had like, look like, who was popular? Who was a popular celebrity at the time? Like Paris Hilton or Nicole Richie. So it was all like, a certain type of style, like very like California girl, I guess. And even like the makeup tips, the fashion tips, like all that were a very specific type of style. Even when they had like, if you're sporty style, if you're like not like whatever other type of style, they didn't have anything for me, the little like alternative girl. So I just did my own thing, didn't really work out, and here I am now. Clearly with all this like unprocessed, unresolved trauma, because I am making this video. I'm gonna start off, we didn't have like transition shades back then, which is great because I'm really bad at those. So we're just gonna put down like a shit ton of color and then build up with even more color and intensity and grunginess. So I'm gonna start off with this purple shade from the Juvia's Place Zulu palette. When I started getting into makeup, I would have killed for a palette like this. Even I think I would have gotten into makeup sooner if there were palettes like this on the market and affordable and easily accessible. There just like really wasn't. Like, I feel like the only company that I can think of, or at least like a mainstream company, at the time that did bright colors was MAC, and they were too expensive. They didn't come in the drugstore, so Okay, so I'm just gonna put that like just all over my crease. The best thing about doing this kind of makeup is it doesn't matter if you're messy or not, because everyone was messy, and that was kind of the point, that it was supposed to look all grungy. You know what? I wrote a lot of really emo poetry back in the day. I should see if I could find some. Maybe include that at the end of this video, so stay tuned. I don't really know what I'm doing. Next, I'm just gonna put like a shit ton of black eyeshadow on my lids. So I'm gonna use a flat brush for this and just go wild. There were so many years that I wish I could do this. I didn't even know where to start. Like, I should have been like, oh, okay, let's like analyze these photos, deconstruct them. But I guess like also I didn't really have anywhere that I could wear this makeup. And I was very self-conscious back in the day. So I like really cared what every single person thought of me. So anything that looked weird or different, like I really wanted to do, but I was also terrified. And I didn't really have any like people like IRL that I could like kind of like mentor me. And then I ended up just kind of like figuring it out myself. But I wish I'd had that, so I had like someone else to like commiserate with me and like show me how to do this kind of stuff. So that's kind of why I created this channel, in hopes that like I could do that for someone else. I don't know, I mean, there are tons of tutorial videos, but even if it's just to give someone the confidence to like do crazy shit like this, like I would love to be that kind of person for someone. Ooh, there is a lot of fallout in this pan. I did not realize that. Might call this pan a fallout boy. I am loving this. I was such a huge Green Day fan back in the day. I mean, I still am, but like I was like really a fan back in the day, and I feel like I'm channeling Billie Joe Armstrong vibes so hard right now, and I'm so okay with this. So I think what I'll do is just gonna go back in and add some more purple in my crease area. So this really isn't something that was done, I don't think, in the early to mid 2000s. I feel like this is more of a recent trend. But I'm just gonna take some of my Anastasia Beverly Hills Aurora palette, glow kit, sorry, and take the shade Spectra. Just with my finger, I'm gonna go over like the center of my lid to kind of like create a halo eye. Even though I like the all black eyeshadow look, I feel like it just kind of needs a little bit more dimension. So I feel like this just adds like a little bit of shimmer without being too like contemporary, I guess. I like it. And then it also sort of brings out the purple that's in my crease. So now the next part that terrifies me, because if I mess this up, I feel like I have to do this again, even though you probably wouldn't even be able to see if I mess up. I'm gonna take some e.l.f. liquid liner and draw like the biggest cat eye wing that I can. Oh yeah. And then I'm gonna try and like sort of taper it towards my inner corner, because that was a big trend that I think is so cool, but I feel like it's so difficult to get right. Okay, I'm not going to touch this eyeliner anymore because I keep messing it up. Okay, so I'm going to wait for that to dry and then I think clean it up with some concealer because that does not look good. People made it look so easy. It's really hard. So while I wait for that, I'm going to put on some blush. So I don't really remember if people wore very much blush at all. I'm going to go for like something a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go into my Tarte Amazonian clay blush in the shade Party and just kind of like lightly dust it. Oh my god, stupid black eyeshadow is everywhere. Okay, that's honestly like as much as I feel comfortable doing. It's like very, very subtle. I think like I kind of want to contour like the tiniest bit. So I'm going to go into the e.l.f. contour kit. I'm going to use the bottom two shades, like literally like the faintest amount of pressure, tap it off. Okay, I'm just gonna go into the lighter shade now and maybe mix that with this shade over here. So now that my eye makeup has dried, I'm gonna just clean up my eyeliner with some concealer. Yeah, this is honestly the best I can do. No one highlighted back in the day, so I feel like I just could probably skip that step. And let's move on to lashes. Alright, so I'm going to use the Ardell 3D Foam Ink lashes number 854. I really love these. They're so bold and dramatic. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna add some of these rhinestone like gem things, and I think I'll put them over here. I was watching a video from Suezochan. I guess like this look is sort of inspired by her. Anyway, so she did that in her video. I feel like a lot of people like added gems and stuff to make it look like they had fake piercings, or like, I guess fake piercings to make it look like they had real piercings. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So I'm gonna just put some lash glue over here and try and sort of make it look like I have, I forget what that piercing's called. A bridge piercing, I think. I'm debating whether I should like add lipstick or not. I think I'll add a little bit. And now, time for some real and fake piercings. Oh boy, it's so hard to talk like this. That's what I'd look like with snake bites. I can't even talk. Oh my god, that's so annoying. I always thought they were so cool, and I wanted them for a while, but seeing what this is like, changed my mind. This is so annoying to talk with. Like, I know these are fake and they're kind of big, so they're sliding around, but like still every time you talk you've got metal rubbing up against your teeth, and like So I'm just gonna get changed, then I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the final look. Oh boy, this wig is something else. So I've got another video where I kind of go a little bit more into this wig. I like almost wish I spent a little bit more on a slightly better wig. Oh my god, these fake piercings are driving me crazy. I almost wish I spent a bit more on a better quality wig. My original plan was to cut it all up and give it like really choppy, sort of like a short choppy layer here, and then long like skinny layers, like kind of like the way that a lot of scene kids would actually have, like, I learned this a lot later, have really, really short hair, like kind of like to here, like a lot of scene girls, and then put in extensions. So you have like straight, healthy looking hair and then short, really damaged hair. Anyway, so that was my plan, to sort of like cut up the wig to make it look like that. And this wig is actually pretty thin, and I'm worried that if I trim it too much, it'll actually look even thinner and just like expose the wefts a bit more. I can't enunciate with these fake piercings. Anyway, so I was worried that that would happen, so I think I'm just gonna leave it as it is, and I tried to like tease it a bit. It sort of worked. I am absolutely thrilled with the way that this look turned out. I am so happy. This is like exactly how I wish that I looked back in the day when I was like 14. If I could have seen my current self back then, oh man, I would have like worshipped the ground I stood on. Like, seriously. The wig is really not great, but I feel like for pictures and video it's probably fine. I'm not super upset about it. It could have been better, sure, but like also my makeup could have been better. Whatever. You know what? We're all learning here. We're just having fun. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, so I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I love this so much. I like can't take myself seriously, but also I want to take like just like all the pictures in the world. I wish Tumblr was like actually active that I could post it to, but whatever, there's Instagram, I'll post it there. So if you want to see those photos, please follow me on my social media so you can kind of stay up to date with that, see more pictures from videos that I record here. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this look, if you guys ever went through a scene phase. I did internally, but not on the outside, unfortunately. I'd love to hear that, and I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. I am going to read an excerpt of a poem that I wrote in 2012 called Valentine's Eve. I was single for a very long time. I just need to give that context. Oh, this is so embarrassing, but I feel like it only fits. I wrote a lot of emo poetry in my day. So here's just a snippet. This hole in me is widening, tunneling deeper to my soul, the only world I know. Sick to my gut, on all fours, sweat streams down. It's not my fault. Damn you, Valentine, promises to those who buy into your lies. Loneliness is all I learned, pain is all I earned from your sickly sweet lullabies. And that is by me. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I wrote a lot of stuff like that back in the day. Good times, good times. We don't need to talk about it anymore.